All right. All right, let the formal part begin. How are you all, everybody, today? I'm Kelly
Great.
Hooper. I'm the manager of our Career Center, so I really appreciate getting to spend a little bit of time with you today, just to talk a little bit about who we are, what we do, answer some questions about co-op, and um, everybody told me I would have 5 hours today of your time, so we'll be here till, I guess until it starts snowing again, whatever comes first, right? So let's kind of get started. Um, a little bit about who we are. There are four of us that work in the Career Center, not all full time, but I'll kind of explain that in just a second. But there's myself, Sharon Brown, who's one of our student support specialists, Courtney Miller, who's one of our student support specialists, and Allison Trimber, one of our student support specialists. So what that means is I'm the one that's around full time working in the Career Center, but the other three do a combination of work between our Welcome Center and the Career Center. So typically, kind of the way we're operating right now is there's usually one person on campus every day. So you can find me in the Career Center right now on Wednesdays. Thursdays, it's kind of up in the air. It's just depending upon what's going on right now with the world as we go through COVID and crazy other things. And then Sharon, Courtney, and Allison are typically in the Welcome Center. So Allison is on Mondays, Courtney on Tuesdays, and Sharon on Fridays. So typically there is somebody around on campus that you can access, or you can always call the phone number, which comes directly to me, and I will answer that as long as I'm not on a call, but answer that or get back with you as soon as possible. And then you can also email questions to us. But our goal is to really kind of help you in a lot of different things, trying to figure out selecting a major or career. We've got some new assessments, and I'll talk a little bit more about some of those in just a moment. But we can also do some group coaching sessions. We're starting to play around with one of our assessments called U Science and doing some boot camps around those. And then we can also do some one-on-one coaching with you. We're also here to help with employment services. So if you're looking for jobs or you need resume or interview assistance, if you're looking for something from part-time to temporary type opportunities or even full-time after graduation, we can help you with some of those pieces. And we've also are doing a lot of workshops, especially virtual workshops, and trying to record a lot of those so that you can have access to them even if you can't make that event. And we've got a couple career fairs that are coming up, and I'll talk a little bit more about those in just a little bit. And right now, not too much employer information tables. Most of them are kind of staying away from that right now. All right. So, oops, let me go back. So, how do you connect with us? Typically, we are available from 8 to 4:30 every day, and you can connect with us via Starfish to make individual appointments, or again, you can call and we'll be happy to get something set up for you. And let's say you need something outside of those hours, we'll try to be flexible and help you get connected with somebody to work with you. All right, so let's kind of dig into phases of career development. This is what I want you to kind of start thinking about. All of us are on this little whirlwind of career development, no matter where we are in life. We're just at different stages. Some of you are trying to explore. Some of you are making decisions and deciding what path you're going to go. Some of you are starting to gain relevant experience towards what you want to do. Some of you are building networks and trying to feel out who is in your profession. How do you get connected? What are the jobs that are out there? Who are the companies that hire? And some of you are working on those pieces that are marketing you, who you are, your resume, getting yourself ready to interview, all those different things like LinkedIn that help market you as a candidate. So again, all of us are at different stages depending on where we are in life, but this is a chance to kind of think about it and break it down into some smaller segments that are easy to manage. So I want to dig in first and let's talk about kind of that phase one, that exploring and trying to understand. There are two tools that we're using in the Career Center right now. One is called Career Coach and one is called U Science. So let me kind of take you through these assessments. So Career Coach, you can access at any time on our website. You just type in Career Coach and go to the Career Center webpage. And Career Coach allows you to do a lot of different things. It's going to let you take an assessment that looks at your interest. What are your interests and how do those interests connect to degrees at Cincinnati State and how do those degrees connect to careers? So when you take that assessment, I recommend you do the 60 question. And it's based on a gentleman named John Holland who created this um, framework to better understand careers and interest. And he felt if we could figure out what people were interested in, we could help them connect to careers and help all those different pieces. So this is out there. It's going to give you what's called a Holland code that says, these are some of the things that you are interested in, and these are potential career opportunities. The other piece that it gives you is information on that career and data about Greater Cincinnati. So it's going to show you information about, is this the right career fit? What kind of salary does somebody make starting out? What's the median? What's the, for somebody who's been in the industry for a long time, what's that upper level salary? What kind of demand is there? It gives you a lot of relevant data. It also shows you, and maybe I'm going to step out of this presentation right now and kind of go to the website so you all can see that. So bear with me for a second. All right, so if you all were going to go to the new website, go to current students and go to the Career Center. And you're going to see there's some different phases in here, but what I want you to do is go to the student and the alumni and then click on self-assessment. And so this will take you to Career Coach. And so again, if you're looking at some of the careers, what they do is break this down into 16 different career clusters. And I'll kind of preface this. This is not just exploration, but for some of you who are getting ready to write resumes, you're trying to look at what kind of skills are needed in professions. This is another great tool to be able to look at some of those. So I'm just going to pick on my favorite agriculture, food, and natural resource because that's something I would never do. No interest. But let's just put crops and plants. And part of this, I just feel like I have no green thumb and I don't know what I would ever do with this. But if I really was, let's say I wanted to be a soil and plant scientist. So it really right now shows no programs associated, but there may be some ways around this and ways to think about this. So it's giving you some new starting salary is typically 40,000, median is 50,000, meeting middle of the road, and then those upper level jobs end up making 109. Typically in Greater Cincinnati, there are 3 openings on a regular basis. Let's say I wanted to only do this in Brown County, Ohio. It does change the numbers a little bit. Okay. So it gives you a chance to kind of look at it from that perspective. The about, this gives you an idea about what someone in this profession does on a daily basis. So you'll see it's very science oriented. So remember on that front page, it said no associated programs. One of the things I might consider is our Associate of Science that allows you to transfer into a bachelor degree. And if we look at the degree attainment for this type of an individual or this type of position, bachelor degree, master's, what's the number one where majority people have? So the doctorate. So it allows you to start building. Like if I started in that Associate of Science, I could build on to a bachelor degree, look at master's, look at doctoral. It also lets you know skills. So as you are thinking about your career and your progression, these are skills that typically come up in job postings or other things that are kind of associated with these type positions. Like, gardening is in here. You've got to understand plants and those type pieces. So maybe even the landscape horticulture program might be a fit for this type of a position. So it's thinking about how do you build skills. Um, the wages, again, just gives you kind of that visual to be able to see, from starting to upper level. The employment trends, this shows you some idea of what typically people see in terms of employment trends. And then also companies that have posted. And again, as we saw, there have been limited job postings for this in the area, but there gives you an idea of some of the companies that had something somewhat related. And then your employment projection, it's not a huge booming industry, if that gives you kind of an idea. So if I was thinking about my career and this is really what I would want to do, I would really pay attention to some of these skills because those are things that are going to set me apart when I am in this competitive field. If I want to stay only in the greater Cincinnati area and this is the only thing I want to do, I want to have all the skills available or really work hard at building those skills so that I'm very competitive when I submit my resume and when I interview that I can talk about how I have these skills. See how it all kind of fits together? Then it'll also give you some idea about similar careers like this food science technology. That's something you could do at Cincinnati State now with our new bachelor's degree program. And then it takes you to live job postings. So typically this kind of plays out. We didn't see a lot of opportunities in this from the very beginning. And when we go out, this would normally take us out to Indeed. We're not really seeing that. So this gives us some idea like maybe this is a career I need to think about what some of the alternatives are. Okay. So again, this is all free. I encourage you to create an account to sign up, create an account because you can save all of this information and you can click on here and this will save information for you. You can also look at programs. Let's just say I kind of want, let's pick on business and marketing. You can look at some of these degrees like our accounting, and it's going to give you some idea of potential careers. So you can look at it from two different ways. Does anybody have any questions about Career Coach that I can answer for you?
I have questions.
Yep, I like
So,
questions.
okay. So, Kelly, most of the students that come into our program are, registered, admitted Cincinnati State students. Some have been here a semester or two.
Mhm.
Um, do students typically are exposed to this earlier, or is this something that students we should just encourage students to do just as part of being a Cincinnati State student, just to make sure they're on the right track?
I would say both. We are working on like some new things through admissions to be about messaging that goes out. So we're looking at kind of what the onboarding messaging is going to be over the next year or so. So we'll be pushing this more, but it never hurts to have kind of that second touch to say, "Hey, have you looked at this? Have you done this? Have you, because it does give you a lot of information
It
and it gives you
does.
a chance to kind of connect and start seeing, okay, do I have a really good picture of what this entails?
Right. And I think for us, a lot of times students come in really focused on maybe a subject or a course that they're really focused on. And
Yeah,
I think something like this might be able to help, yeah, put that focus to
yeah,
make sure that what I'm here to do overall, Regina and I talk frequently about, kind of big
yeah,
picture, making sure that we have a help to put more tangible things around a plan for students. And but a lot of times students come in and they're pretty certain that this is what they want to do, but this could also
yeah.
just be a way to confirm
Hmm.
that your idea of what you think this is matches what the reality
Yeah.
is.
Our new one that we have is very different.
Okay.
So, where Career Coach focuses in on interest, U Science is something that focuses in on aptitudes and interest. So this one, it we have to create an account for you. So if it's something that anybody is interested in, we are happy to do it. And then we're also doing some boot camps in March and April for students to kind of get more information to kind of debrief a little bit more about this. So what this one is about, they really call it brain games. You are going to do a series of 11 activities. Some of them you are going to do really, really well at. Some of them you are going to completely struggle with. And take it from me because I did it myself. And what it's trying to get at is your aptitudes. And if we think about ourselves realistically, there are some things I do really well. There are some things I do not do really well. And you can start seeing some of that in the test. There are things that like it's just so quick and easy. It's easy for you to do. There are some things that it's like, oh my gosh, this is difficult. But you don't want to let that scare you. What it really does is it starts looking at where your strengths are and where your aptitudes are and helps you then start connecting those aptitudes to careers and degrees. So it looks at it in a completely different manner. And it really is very positive, the information you find out about yourself, the reports that you get. And you have access to this for 10 years. Even if you're not a Cincinnati State student, you still have access to this information through your account. So what we do is create this account. You schedule some, or schedule some time. It takes about 90 minutes. You don't have to do it all in one setting, that you don't have to sit down and do 90 minutes, but every time you get into a new part of the assessment, you've got to complete it. So typically those take maybe about 5 to 6 minutes. So again, if you just broke it down and did a few minutes each day, you would get it done in a few days. It's not going to take that long. And then we can sit down and look at some of your results and give you some of the information. But we're seeing this a lot of the colleges in the area, Sinclair, Clark State, some of those schools are using this. Some of the high schools are starting to use this. It's a really great tool to look at both aptitude, and it also will look at those same assessment, the Holland assessment that you do in Career Coach. So it'll give you both of those to kind of compare. And you'll see it'll, when you get your results, it'll say, okay, here's my aptitude. Here are some of the careers that I would be a really good fit for. And here are my interests. Here are some that would be a really good fit. So again, we can help you kind of get started with that. Just reach out to us and we'll get you an account and then give you some information about some of the boot camps that we're doing. So one of the things I do by or twice a month, I do what's called a moving beyond undecided session. And this session walks an individual through the decision making process, things to think about and consider as you're making these career decisions. And like I had an interesting call with somebody yesterday. They were changing majors, and what they thought was going to happen in one degree just really wasn't there. It wasn't what they were interested in. And I have referenced them, like, what are some of those questions you wish you had known as you made that first decision? Because we don't want you making that same second decision without asking yourself some questions. Okay, what didn't you like about this degree? What didn't you like about this program? There are things that you want to walk through so that you're not making that same decision all over again where it's going to be a problem and an issue. So we walk through that process and give you some tools and some things to think about as you're making these career decisions. But I do these the second Wednesday of the month at noon and then the third Wednesday of the month at 6. So we'll be doing it tonight. So if anybody wants to join, let me know. I'll send you the Zoom link for that. All
I
right.
have a question.
Yeah.
Hi, yeah, my name
Yeah.
is Paola.
Yes.
I'm new to Cincinnati State. I started last year.
Uh-huh.
Yesterday, I spoke with my trio advisor,
Yeah.
Dr. Jennifer. So I asked her, like, I'm doing culinary art right now.
Hmm.
So I would like to know more about it, and then I wanna open a catering businesses.
Okay.
So where should I start? And then she want me to ask you the question. So
Yeah.
if there's any idea, or I need to have my coach, my career coach, or something like that.
Yeah. So what questions do you have? And maybe this is kind of how to think about it.
Mm-hmm.
Create a list of the questions you are not sure of right now. And
Mm-hmm.
that could be anything from, I don't know details about the program, to I don't know how I would start this business. And
Mm-hmm.
those are things we could work on and try to start
Mm-hmm.
figuring out how do you get answered. One of the
Mm-hmm.
tools that we may want you to do is do an informational interview. Let's say you don't know what it would be like to own your own business. We
Mm-hmm.
would want to try and see if we could get you set up to do an informational interview with somebody where you could kind of have that real conversation with somebody who
Mm-hmm.
owns their business. What are their
Mm-hmm.
struggles? What's a typical day look like? What do you need to learn in this degree to make you successful? Those are some of the
Mm-hmm.
things to kind of think about.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make
Okay.
sense?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. And some of this will kind of talk along the way. If you're like, the ultimate end in mind is owning your own business. When you think about experiences that you want to have, you want to work for a smaller business, probably somebody where you, or somewhere where you can get connected to somebody who's managing, where you can learn the business operation, not just you want to have your culinary skills, but you want to have your culinary skills plus your business skills to be able to manage and run that operation. Does that make sense?
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
And happy to schedule some time too to talk a little bit further about it. Okay.
Okay, I
Great
will.
question. Great
Yeah, I
question.
will
Yeah.
do that. Thank you.
Yeah. So if we dig back into phases of this career development, some other pieces that I want you all to start thinking about. Experiential education. So Paula, you just kind of put the questions at the right time. Within your degrees, all of your associate degrees, you're going to have some sort of experiential education embedded. For most of you, if you're in business, if you're in culinary or the Midwest Culinary Institute, if you are in
What's the matter?
engineering, okay. If you're in engineering,
Karim, coach,
IT, or if you are in Associate of Arts and Science, you all are going to have co-op as part of your degree. If you are in our health professions, most likely you're going to have clinicals and practicums. In some of our education programs, some of those, or human services, I know a lot of you are in those programs. So there is some sort of experiential embedded. Typically with co-op, what we're looking at is we have co-op orientations every semester. So I'm going to flip to another slide and come back to this one for a second. So if we think about what the co-op pathway is, typically we want you to have completed your first year courses. If you've got any academic foundation courses like math or English that you're working on, or English as a second language, we want to get those things completed and out of the way. Then most of your degrees have some sort of prereq, like BUS 190 or HUM 190. These are courses that are prereq to get you ready for co-op. You're going to start working on resume. You're going to start working on interviewing, all those pieces to get you ready to be able to co-op. Then we have co-op orientations, and these take place every semester. We typically do 3 sessions each semester. We have one final one for the spring that happens on Thursday night at 5 o'clock, and I can still get you registered for that. That's not a problem. But typically you go to those orientations and then you start working with your co-op coordinator. And each program has a coordinator that works with them. They've actually just hired 2 new ones in engineering and IT. We're still kind of waiting to figure out who is going to which programs, but they are both starting this week. And one has been with the college for a long while. The other one has been on and off with the college for a while. So they are all very versed at working with their degrees and programs and can help you start connecting to opportunities. When you approach any of these things, I know co-op, clinical practicum, any of those things, they are a little scary because you're going to have to kind of go back out and, gain some new experiences. So as you're thinking about your own personal career, you want to work with your co-op coordinator or the person that's working with your clinical and practicums and think about, where do you want to be? Where do you want to be building skills? What are the things that you need to be doing to make yourself a better candidate after graduation? You will always hear this come out of my mouth, no matter when I'm talking to anybody, but I want you all to start thinking like employers. You're paying a lot of money to go to school. You are putting a lot of time and energy. So employers want you to have skills, they want you to have education, and they want you to have experiences. So I want you to start looking and preparing by going back to that career exploration piece. I want you to start looking at these job descriptions. I want you to start looking at information about jobs and start thinking, what skills are they looking for? How am I learning that in my education? How am I gaining relevant experience? Because ultimately, when you submit your resume to an employer, they're going to be looking for those things. So we want you to start getting prepared. So that's a little bit about experiential education. What questions might you all have about experiential education? Because I know timing is always the key. Like, when should I really do this? If we're looking at clinicals and practicums, it's usually embedded and your advisor works with you to get those slated. But co-ops and internships, they work a little bit differently. Typically, it's getting to that BUS 190 or that 190 course if it's in your curriculum, attending co-op orientation, and starting to work with your co-op coordinator. Most of the time that can start in your second or third semester of classes. So what questions do you all have about experiential education? None, that's good.
I'll ask a question.
Okay.
So you said typically in your second or third semester.
Mm-hmm.
So is it common for an academic advisor to, once, as you're building your schedule and you're going through your curriculum, to, kind of encourage you, or you're at the point now, it's here's
They
who
should.
your academic advisor or your co-op
Yeah.
coordinator is? I mean, how do they get introduced to their co-op coordinator? Just through their network through Starfish?
They should see it, they should be hearing about it in their advising appointments. If you're not, sorry about that, but you really should be. You can also look at Starfish, because that will give you an idea of who your coordinator is. And if you ever have questions, go ahead and start reaching out to them. Or if you
Okay.
want to reach out to me, I'm happy to connect you to those folks, because that way you'll start knowing when that's going to happen. But look at your curriculum sheets. Typically, most of them, I think, show up in your third
Third.
semester. So if we're
Mhm.
looking at kind of fall, spring, summer as a rotation, you start seeing it come up. Okay, this is something you should do in summer, but the semester prior is when you should be making sure you've got that 190 class completed, making sure you're coming to orientation. And again, we have orientations every semester. So let's say you can't make it, and you're really looking for something to start in the summer, schedule an individual appointment with your co-op coordinator and they'll begin working with you. But let's kind of just time frame about when these things happen. They typically happen in the first 3 to 4 weeks of the semester. So that's when you should be on the lookout for them. And then if you think about, okay, let's say I want to co-op in summer. I need to be meeting my coordinator by the end of February for summer. If I want to do something in fall, let's set something up sometime in May, because that way you can start working with the coordinator earlier rather than later. And if you're looking at spring, let's just say by beginning of October as a time frame to start meeting with them.
And Kelly, can you
Mhm.
speak to any of the, like, how things have changed with this process because of COVID? I mean, I'm assuming that we'll be in this kind of hybrid, remote, virtual world for a little while
Yeah.
longer. And so I'm assuming some of the co-ops have adjusted to maybe that kind of um, way
Yeah.
as well. So is that what you're primarily seeing, or does it just depend on the field and
It
the
really depends
corporation?
on the field. Some have not taken a hit at all. Some
Okay.
have had hits. Some have allowed for virtual work. They've learned how to work that out with their co-ops. So, and then we also have done a few things where we've done some special projects for. We've got, some students that have their own health issues and things that are going on where they really can't. So we've worked out some things for them to be able to do a special project in lieu of that co-op experience. But
Okay.
all the coordinators have been working very hard to really try to, manage their employers in the sense what's going on with you. When COVID first hit, they were on the phones calling all of their employers and trying to make those connections, or emailing, whatever it took to kind of get an idea of what was going on. And summer was kind of crazy, fall's been somewhat good, and then we're still seeing a lot of opportunity going
Okay.
into summer. So it
Oh,
really
great.
just depends on the field and the program.
Okay. That's positive. That's good to
Yeah,
hear.
it's good. All
Kelly,
right.
one
Yeah.
just quick question. Around the special projects that you had just mentioned,
Yeah.
is that mostly health related, or could that be other circumstances relating to the individual?
It's a conversation between you and the co-op coordinator,
Okay,
and having, because everybody's got their own things kind of going on in life. So it's a chance for you to kind of talk about that and what your co-op experience is going to look like.
okay, thank
Yeah,
you.
you're welcome. All right, so looking at just some of the other things, we focus a lot around programming around a lot of these different areas. So like building networks, marketing yourself, all those different pieces. So let's talk a little bit about some of the things that are going on. This is just kind of a snapshot in time of some of the programs that we have going on for within the Career Center. And these are all virtual right now. We've got some LinkedIn programming where we can help you with your LinkedIn profiles so that you can connect and engage. And also, as you start doing that, make sure you like the Cincinnati State alumni page, even though you're not an alumni yet. We want to stay connected with you. So make sure you connect with that page in LinkedIn. We're also doing one of my favorite things right now, the Alumni Career Series. And you can actually go find the past ones on our Facebook page. And I'll talk a little bit more about that in just a second. Our U Science boot camps, resume writing, just a little bit of everything to kind of help get you prepared. We also have some career fairs that are coming up and some other events. One thing that I do want to make you all aware of, we have officially launched a partnership with Opportunities for Ohioans with Disabilities, and we're going to have some information sessions about these on February 23rd and March 3rd. And you can link to those, and I'll make sure that your TRIO folks have these so that you can get the Zoom links fairly easily. But OOD works with individuals with disabilities. You do not have to be an Ohio resident. You have to be attending an Ohio school. So that being at Cincinnati State qualifies you for their opportunities. But typically what they do is you'll have an initial meeting with our representative, and his name's Bill Reese, and Bill's going to be on these sessions, kind of giving you an overview of the services and how to connect. They need to have documentation, like with anything with disabilities, to be able to give you services. They've got to have some documentation, and they'll walk you through what that looks like and how you access this. But it allows you to have, job search assistance, internship assistance, all those different things to help you find employment opportunities very successfully. So we're really happy about this. We had hoped to have them actually live on campus, but due to COVID, that will happen sometime in the near future once we're able to get back to campus and all those pieces. Also, some job fairs that are coming up. We have two this semester. One is focused on our co-op and careers, and this is for our business, engineering, IT, Associate of Arts and Science students. It's going to be for those that are looking for co-op opportunities and also our upcoming graduates. Some of these employers, because they may not be hiring right now, they may be just having info sessions. So this is a good chance for you to come look at what kind of opportunities might be out there. What are some of the employers that would be looking for Cincinnati State students? This typically is one of the fairs we do in person each year, but just due to COVID, we've had to kind of go back to the virtual world. So we'll help you get kind of prepared for that. So we've got a couple preparation sessions that are coming up on March 1st, 2nd, and 4th. And these are 30-minute sessions where we're going to walk you through how do you do an elevator pitch? How do you show up and be prepared for this event? So we'll walk you through and how to even use the system. So it's very simple and easy. Just, these are sessions that are out there for you to get acclimated. And we do have a recording on our Facebook page from the past session. So if you want to go take a look at that, it's out there if you can't make one of these sessions. Oops. All right, this is one of my new favorite things. We've partnered with JCPenney's Suit Up for you all to get discounted clothes. And anyone can use this. Students, faculty, staff can use this discount code and get great clothes from JCPenney. But our event takes place February 25th through 28th. And then we'll also do it again in April as we get closer to our second job fair, which is for the health students. So what will happen, you will text this number, what is it, 67292 to JCPenney. And we've got the numbers in here, or text this, or I can't even say anymore. I'm losing my mind. Text CINNST to 67292, and you will get a 30% off code. What is really cool, if it's already on sale, that 30% counts on top of the already discounted price. So you could get things up to 60%, let's say. So there's a lot of different opportunities, but you'll go to this website, the jcpenney.com suit up, this little website that's down here, and they will access the different things that you can buy, from professional attire to shoes to any number of things. If you're a Sephora user, you can also get a free beauty consult in store, and you can also get a discount at the salon for any haircuts, whatever else that you need to have done. So this is going to happen twice in the spring semester. The first go around is in February, and the next go around is in April. But again, anybody that's affiliated with Cincinnati State can use this discount code. Did we have a question? Oh, yay, I love Sephora too. Yay, so take advantage of this. We had, I think 30 people take advantage of it last semester. So, and that was our first time to do it. So please, it just helps you all get really cool stuff. All right, our alumni career series. This is my new favorite thing that we started during the pandemic. And we have had alumni that come and do these virtual sessions with us. And we're going to have one tonight at 5 with Ben Clare. Ben is, I remember Ben as a co-op student, and he was one of my favorites. He worked for our development office, and Ben is also an author. And Ben talks about his upbringing, his life. He is so inspirational and can give you all such positive, make you feel good kind of stuff. He, worked very hard with our development team, and now he works for Santa Maria Community Services. So if you all can join us tonight, that would be awesome. You will love to hear his story. We also have some other sessions, and these happen over the past few months, and we've got these recorded and they are saved out on our Career Center Facebook page. So a couple of my favorites, they're all my favorites. I've really enjoyed this series, but I don't know if anybody's gone in or is going into respiratory care. Emily Horning is just one of the most amazing individuals I've heard in a long while. She was a single mom. She was career changing. She just did not know if she was going to be able to make it and do it. And she just tells such a great story about all her life, how she did it. And yes, I will send the link out to you all so that you have this. Um, Brandy Ayers, Dylan Ruby, Bob Hefferton, Kevin Dwyer, Michael Collins. These are all our pride and joy at Cincinnati State. And down the road, when you all graduate, I would love to have your story out here too, because you all just give inspiration. And that's what a lot of these folks are doing. They're giving you inspiration for how did they survive it? What did they do? Tips for success. Dylan is in culinary and hospitality. He talks about his family connection, which is Jeff Ruby's. But he talks about, hey, there were expectations of me coming here. I thought I was actually even going to go to UC. It didn't work out. And I found a better home here at Cincinnati State. So their stories are so inspirational, and they really talk to you about how to be successful in your career. And I definitely will send the link out to you guys. So let's talk about some of the other things that we do, not just the programming, but job search guidance, resume assistance, jobs, all of those things. We are here to kind of assist with those pieces. We get jobs that come from all over. We have some that go into our system called CareerLink. We also have things that come to us from Ohio Means Jobs and other groups, and we put a lot of that information on typically on Fridays. If you're following our Facebook page, we will update. Here are the new jobs that came into CareerLink. Here are the new jobs that came to us from other sources. We can help you with resumes, interview assistance, all those different things, and help connect you to some of these opportunities. So typically, like if you're looking for, just a part-time job, we have different things that come in. We can help you find out what some of those things are, help you get connected. When we talk about full-time, these are the career-related things that happen after graduation. So let's say you want to look for something completely different after you graduate. We can help you make some of those connections. So a couple things, and again, where the jobs are posted, CareerLink, which you all will have access to, you just go to our CareerLink site. You can find it on Blackboard if you even type in CareerLink, or you can go to our new Facebook page, or not our new Facebook, our new website, and there are links and information on how to access it for students. Also, again, on Fridays is when we post those different opportunities, the weekly culmination, and then you can schedule one-on-one time with any of the staff members to kind of work on things. So again, here's how you find CareerLink in Blackboard. You can just go, or you can go to the website, Cincinnati State-CSM, simplicity.com/students. Or if you go into Blackboard under tools, if you scroll down, you should see a link to CareerLink. Simple, hopefully simple and easy. One of the things when you do put a resume in, we want you to work with one of our staff if you're looking for part-time or full-time opportunities to have your resume approved. We want to view it before we just let you go and just make sure you're putting yourself out there in the best manner. So just to give you kind of an idea about kind of where people's focus has been, I've been doing general administration and career fairs. Sharon Brown is focused on our part-time job. So if you were looking for a part-time job, Sharon is probably the best person to connect with. If you are looking for employment after graduation, that's going to be Courtney Miller. And then our youth science boot camps and a lot of the work around youth science, Allison Trimber is the contact for that. Oops, My screen keeps popping up.
And then how we get the email from, how we gonna contact them? So we don't know, like, I'm
Mhm.
looking for a part-time job.
Yep, if you actually go into, um, oops, let me kind of go back to the beginning. Hold on, and I'll show you. If you go into Starfish, and what you want to do you also, oh, come on. If you go into Starfish and under My Success Network, that's where you'll find the Career Center. I'm sorry, you'll find the Career Center, and then you can have access to calendars and be able to connect. Or you can call the Career Center, the main number, and I answer that, and I will look up calendars and get you connected with folks.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, you're so welcome. All right, so that kind of gets us to the end. I encourage you all to follow us on Facebook and Facebook and Instagram, because we get a lot of different things that come in, and that's where I put some of those immediate pieces of information, like job fairs outside of Cincinnati State, tips. Like this month, I've been doing a lot on, you know, Black History Month, and trying to connect to some of the inspirational stories and different career paths that people have taken, to give you, like, one of my favorites has been thinking about math careers, like how African Americans have made a great impact in math, and what are some of those inspiring stories. So definitely follow us. Our co-op group has their own page. The Career Center has a page, and we also have an Instagram account. All right, other questions or anything else that anybody needs for me to kind of answer? What do you not know about us, and how can we continue to help and support and serve you all?
Me, I have one.
Yeah.
So you had mentioned that about, I think I saw one of the slides about temporary jobs as well.
Hmm.
Sometimes we have students that get to the end of their program and they're running out of funding,
Yeah.
or they have a hold on their account because they have a balance, and sometimes so students can still use the Career Center for just
Yep.
temporary part-time
Yes.
assistance. I'm assuming you would recommend that just students have resumes kind of updated regularly,
Hmm.
and that way there's not a huge lag time in trying to quickly find something that would help
Yep. And
pay off a balance so we can get them re-enrolled for the next
yeah,
semester.
I would suggest, and this is for anybody, every year, pull your resume out. Some of you may need to do it sooner rather than every year, but update it every year, just so that, you never know. It keeps you it's almost that annual check-in. What have I learned new? What are new skills? How am I showing those skills off? It just helps you kind of keep that up to date. And, one of the things too that you all can do, not everything needs to be on your resume, but maybe keep kind of that thing that has everything on it. So you kind of pull from that document as you create the resume you're using. So it gives you, I think one of the hardest things is to remember where you've been, especially if you've been in the world of work for a long time, what those dates were when you worked somewhere. So that keeping that big, long document keeps all those dates
Yeah.
somewhere and makes it
Yeah.
simple and easy.
Okay.
Other questions? Great question, Gretchen.
It seems that we always get to the end, or we help students kind of get to the end, and there's either a few more courses and not enough funding, or we're working
Yeah.
for co-op. And so there's some kind of career co-op piece, and we want to try to work hard to avoid it being at the end.
Yes.
So I'm just trying to think of kind of barriers we come into with students that we could
Yeah.
maybe address earlier. But the funding is a huge one. And I think that's great that they can still receive assistance even for just a temporary kind of
Yep.
part-time job, just to help to get through school.
Yep. And let's talk when you get into alumni status. There's this first couple years, we're really able to help you a lot, because a lot of the jobs that are coming into us are looking for those recent grad skill sets. But if you also look at our new webpage, we'll have alumni that have been out in the work field for a long time, there are certain things that we can do, like resumes, other things, but maybe the jobs that are coming to us aren't the right fits or the right fit because you've been out in the industry for so long. So we've got a couple of references out there to be able to kind of help you see. There's some support groups out there. There's the Hyde Park Job Focus Group that is really, really strong. The Kenton County Public Library and the Cincinnati Public Library both have some strong groups too. And these are really accountability groups. So they help you kind of get prepared. They help you stay connected. So these are community resources that, we want to make sure you're aware of and are connecting to. And then our big one too, that is an easy one to pull a lot of these things together. Ohio Means Jobs. The state of Ohio spent a lot of money on this site to be able to retain talent to the state of Ohio. So it has everything from exploration to my favorite tool that it has on it is mock interviews. You can actually go in and record yourself conducting an interview, and you can send it to someone like somebody in the Career Center. You could send segments of your interview for a critique. So it gives you a chance to kind of record it, see how it comes across. It also gives you a chance to time it. Let's just pick on that first question they might ask you, tell me about yourself. And that typically probably needs to take about 3 to 5 minutes. If you are recording and it goes on for 30 minutes, you know that it's too long. You got to narrow this down. So it gives you a chance to kind of hear yourself and edit yourself in a very safe environment, because only, in that interview, only you and this recording are there, unless you want to share it. And again, we put a lot of these, let me just kind of share this with you all. We've tried to put a lot of these things on our website as we were able to redo this. So we tried to break it down into these, areas like self-assessment, exploring careers, making a career decision. These are planning tools, the gaining relevant experience, building your networks, like the importance of networking, LinkedIn, and there are tools on here about how to use LinkedIn and get it created, and other references. So these, are events and programming. There's a lot of information, and this will be continually updated since we've got access now to be able to do those changes in a very timely manner. I was updating things this morning. And then we also have just all of our events and programming. So if you want to check those out, job fairs, the suit up events, if we've got access to regional events, we'll put some of those things in here also. Great. Any other questions or?
I think there was a question in the chat
Yep.
from Ben too. Oh yeah.
Bento, yes, you can. Even if you've got a resume, that's even better because you've got something to start with, and then we can look at it and edit and review it. Makes it a little bit easier than sometimes starting from scratch. And again, I encourage you all to schedule some appointment time. That way you get a little bit of one-on-one time. Or you can email the career services. It's careercenter@cincinnatistate.edu. And you can submit your resume, and within about 48 hours, we'll review it and get something back to you.
So how to schedule the appointment?
Yep. Yeah. It was the question, how to, or?
To schedule the appointment for the one-on-one.
Yep, you can do that either through Starfish or if you want to call the Career Center today. And our number, let me just make sure you all have this, and I'll send this recording in the PowerPoint to everybody today. But our phone number is 569-4242, and the email is careercenter@cincinnatistate.edu. And you can also, again, go to Starfish to make those appointments. All right. Well, if we don't have any other questions, I really appreciate getting to spend some time with you all today. You now hopefully know name and face, so at least you know somebody in the office. The others are great and fabulous too, so they are, look forward to helping and working with you all. So again, just reach out to us and we'll be happy to get things scheduled for you or get you connected in the right way.
Great. Thank you, Kelly. And I just wanted to
you all.
share with the students that You will be getting a link from Dr. D today for a, right after this recording or after this presentation about a survey. So if you don't mind taking just a few minutes just to fill that out, so we can get some feedback. We're always trying to offer workshops and information that are helpful to you. And so your feedback is very much valued, and Kelly will share that with you as well.
Yeah.
Great workshop, Kelly. You gave
Yeah,
a
thank you.
lot of great information that is very, very valuable. So
I could
thank
go
you
on
so
for
much.
hours, right? That's
Yeah.
fun.
You guys are busy. You're doing a
Yeah.
lot.
We're
That's awesome.
trying. We're
Yeah,
trying. It's nice
that
to
was
see
really good.
everybody and appreciate
Yeah.
time with you all today.
Thank you,
Thanks.
Kelly.
All
Thank
right.
you.